2. Welcome to this special episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
Hey everyone, we have with us Brianna Muller Green.
Yes.
Brianna, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Ali is too in Thailand. That's great.
Yeah. Don't worry about me.
No. Hey, listen, Bree is an e-com business developer and entrepreneur with over 20 years experience. A former figure skater, science teacher, and administrator, she left her 8-year career to build a more flexible lifestyle for her family. With millions in sales across Amazon, Merch, Etsy, and eBay, she co-owns Design for Dollars and teaches others how to build personal brands online. Wow.
Damn, that's good stuff. Figure skating's the one I stood out for me. Damn.
Yeah.
That's right. So, hey, Bree, thank you for joining us today for our summit. We're really happy, and this is exciting for us, and I hope it's exciting for you as well. This will be on the topic of the secret to having multiple businesses is eBay. Wow. That's an interesting topic because there are a lot of people that sell on eBay that have multiple businesses. So let's talk about that. How do you explain that?
I would say the best way to describe my whole business strategy, because I've been on eBay for over 20 years. I've been selling since I was a teenager. And I would say the secret to having multiple businesses is eBay, because eBay's my hub.
Yes.
For no matter where I am and what I'm doing. It's my go-to. It's my bread and butter. It's what I can rely on. It's also the thing that I know that I can push the pedal down on and scale when I want, and I can let up and kind of like let things go a little bit and focus on other areas. But still, I have always had eBay running for almost the whole 20 years consistently, but definitely the last probably 12 since I've been doing it full-time for 8 years. The whole e-com thing.
Damn.
Cool. That's got to give you comfort, right? To know that, even though you're doing some other things, this is, like you said, this is your bread and butter. You can always count on this. And as you mentioned, other eBay sellers need to know, I mean, if you're new to this, that you can scale or scale back, scale up or scale back as you need.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And my buying strategy, my selling strategy, things have evolved as the platform has evolved. I've gone into different areas of selling in different categories just because I can and because I have an interest in it. It's amazing, like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, I can sell menswear and women's wear in my sleep. Like, no problem. I do it, and it doesn't take me any time to list. But then what's cool is I can go learn a little bit about antiques because it feeds my soul to learn a little bit more about other things, So it's more, it's also for me like a passion. So I get to wake up every single solitary day and love what I do.
Isn't that rough? That sounds so rough.
I know, it's horrible, isn't it?
That's what
I almost want to pause 30 seconds and think about that for a minute. That's really cool to be able to love what you do for a living. It is. There's a lot of people that are struggling. They're working for somebody else, and it's not there for them yet.
I mean, let's keep it real. I left an 8-year career as a teacher. I had 2 master's degrees. I was an assistant principal. I was tenured. I was not going anywhere. And I really did well at teaching and got a lot of accolades for it. And I left all of that behind because of the more flexible lifestyle that eBay was the origin of all of that, but that I've built for myself, being very untraditional and doing things online. But really it all has gone back to eBay, and it continues, like I'm really heavy in the print on demand world. Well, guess what? I always have a way to tie it back to eBay. So guess where some of that print on demand stuff is ending up? On eBay. I've figured out the connections in the background to make it work.
Yes.
So
what was that?
So let's talk. Go ahead. Let's talk about the beginning sellers. Somebody is just now selling. It's pretty overwhelming, right? So, when you first started selling on eBay, you probably, had your job, right?
Yep.
And I'm sure there were some naysayers in their family, your friends. When you quit that was a pretty nice career. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, you were tenured. You weren't going anywhere. You had a pretty steady, consistent job.
Yep.
And let's talk about the naysayers. I mean, because everybody's going to have them. Unfortunately, it's a part of it. You're going to have people say, "Oh my goodness, what are you giving up? What are you walking away from? How does that work?" And how did you handle that?
I mean, at first it's hard because you kind of like you want to please your family and friends, and that critique is like, like it can kind of tear your heart out a little bit. But then, after, and listen, it's easy for me to say this because I've been in the industry a long enough time, but like honestly, the joke is on them. I'm in my
Yeah.
pajamas all day, like when it, and I'm making more money. Like, sorry to be so blunt, but I mean, they're driving to work every day and they're paying for their co-workers' birthday gifts and their
Yes.
$12 coffee and the commute and the lunch out, and then you're going back to work overtime. I'm in my yoga pants and a hat and braids.
Good stuff.
If I don't want to leave, I don't have to leave. The post office comes here and picks up every day.
Yeah.
I don't need to go anywhere.
We call that an eBay uniform, what you're wearing
Yes,
there, actually.
yeah,
That's really awesome. And it changes every day, right?
So how do you get that leap of faith, though? I mean, how do you? Because that's you've done it and it's worked out well. But how do you do that?
I think there's two things. I think you have to have the reality check of I hustled until I just could not do it anymore on top of my other job, and I was making enough money to like comfortably leave. Like it was more than replacing. I'm good. And then I knew I could put in full-time hours if I wanted to. But there's a whole nother part of that. And it's losing your identity in the career that you were in.
Yep.
And it's feeling confident enough in your choice to know that the uninformed are going to criticize and are going to poke fun at you and call you a junk collector and this and that. And it's almost just like it's a frame of mind you just have to get yourself into. And you just have to know you made the right decision. The proof is in the pudding when you're taking home a significant amount of money for doing far less for something that you're really passionate about. And then you have to have that mental, that ability to just say, listen, they don't even know what they're talking about. They don't know what the lifestyle is like. They don't know what I do day in and day out. And once you're confident in that, keep talking, guys. And then spend a day with me and see what I get to do versus what you have to do.
Yeah,
but they start to see it. They do.
Ask your boss if you can take a day off work and spend some time with me. And if they let you take the day off, come spend time with me. Yeah, it's really kind of cool.
Well, and that's a crazy part when I left the career, when everybody was like, oh my God, is she nuts? Well, because I've been so public, they were like, whoa, she's
nice.
She's lost it. And, now that I've been so public with it, I've actually had like coworkers who were in the industry or in the career longer than me leave too.
Wow.
They were like, you know what, this isn't for me, and it's okay. And it's we don't live in a society where you have to have one job for 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah, those days are gone.
Options.
Yeah, my dad worked at a company for 38 years. That was it. He started at 19 years old, and he worked his entire career there. That was it. But you know what? We have options now. And there, with the internet and e-commerce, there are so many options.
Definitely.
And the neat thing about it is, you really don't have a ton of competition, right? I mean, when you sell on eBay, obviously there is some competition, but, you can work around that and build your business and grow it and grow it and grow it.
Well, and you know what? Everybody can complain about competition when they want to, but then if they lived a day in my shoes and saw how many people I encountered that like have never shopped on eBay, don't know how to use eBay, we're actually a teeny sliver of the entire planet. So like, I'm a big advocate for sharing and working with others as a joint effort to grow our businesses, because I'm not worried. I'm not worried about my neighbor. Yeah. Because 99% of the people don't follow through anyway. So let me share what I know. The action takers will run with it. I'll feel great that I helped someone. And like, I'm cool with sharing. Most people don't, capitalize on it.
Oh, I love it. So how do you?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. In the grand scheme of things, every one of the eBay sellers is a grain of sand and a really long beach.
Yes. Yeah, and we all have our lanes that we're comfortable in, that we kind of veer from time to time. Like I go to these local auctions. There's the guy there that's doing his scrap metal stuff, and I'm looking for something else. And we're, teaming up. Like, do you see that? Do you see? Like, we all have our little areas. We're not competing.
Right.
Making eBay look fun. That's what it's about, because that's what you're displaying here. So how do you run your day-to-day business then? So here you are, you're doing really well on eBay, but how does someone who's maybe newer get to do something like that?
This sounds silly and so like technical, but it's building systems. You gotta have systems.
Right.
And you have to listen to data, like look at data, crunch data, build systems. It's as simple as that. Now it's obviously more difficult to do because you have to take action and implement, but it's as simple as like thinking about how do I break down a process like getting the load of stuff out of my car into my house and prepped and, pictures, going through how to make those steps replicable and efficient. And so for me, once I get I'm going to do it this way, boom, 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 boom. You do it over and over again that way. And then it becomes second nature. And it also becomes something that you can show someone else and outsource so that you can go out and be the head of the operation, the brains of the operation, and then teach others around you how to do it. And, it's a joint effort.
Awesome. So do you have employees now?
I do. Most of what my employees do is more on the print on demand side of things, but excuse me, I do have a couple of personal virtual assistants that also do things like they'll go into my eBay account and they'll do some cross marketing for me on Poshmark, and or they'll do some photos for me or something like that. The actual listing though on eBay, I prefer to be the control freak and have the like final touch, the final push. But I have a lot of the processes that I have are replicable. Like they can be. I use Loom. It's free. Use Loom, and it's a video, a Chrome extension. And if I catch myself doing something that I could easily show someone else, I stop myself, I record it with Use Loom, and then it just pops out as a web address. And you just send it to your VA. Hey, watch this. This was 2 seconds ago. I was just doing this. And
nice.
Copy, paste, bam.
Done.
Watching it with a 30-second lag time in between filming and giving it to her.
Wow, that's awesome. So did you say you have VAs helping you with photography?
They only do like the editing.
Okay, I was going to say, because if you got the physical product there, I didn't know how you were doing that. So you take the pictures and then send them to them for cleaning it up?
Yep. But I've also outsourced. So a couple of ideas for outsourcing for local pictures would be like going to the local university where there's photography students, business students, there's internships. I've got the State University of New York network right here. And family and friends. Like my mom does not understand the ins and outs of eBay, but guess what? She's a force to be reckoned with nowadays on her iPhone.
Love it. Go for it.
Camera, and give her a tub of stuff. She knows how to get all fancy and lay it out, and and I showed her one process. She loves it. She loves to help me with the sourcing as well.
Okay.
So those two things that she can do and feed to me so that I can basically, whip up the listing and push it out.
And what other job can you have that you can spend that much time with your mom? I mean, seriously, that's priceless.
It is so fun. Her and I have done everything from go buy out almost an entire boutique before, like just spontaneous. Oh, there's an auction. Let's go check it out. Oopsies, we don't have a big enough truck for this one. And then now we're like calling people to help. We've gone to the Goodwill, by the pound, and she's lifted me in. They're letting me get inside. So I'm the crazy one. They're lifting me in the bins. Mom, we've just had so many fun, and I call it shenanigans. as
Mhm.
a mother and daughter in this journey.
Isn't that great?
And
You
you get
know,
paid.
yeah, and and it just proves it's just another proving point that anyone of any age can do this. It's just taking those systems that you're talking about and putting it into place. We've interviewed on this actual summit itself a few people whose mothers are doing stuff as well. I just think it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. My grandparents are in their early 80s and they're into eBay and they just love to do their they go out, once a week to the thrift store and they have certain things that they're obsessed with and they even get into it too.
And
Um,
you know what's really cool about that is that we love on our podcast show to eliminate excuses.
yeah.
Somebody that's just listening right now just heard you say that your grandparents are 80 years old and they still do it. That eliminates the excuse for the person who's 67 years old and just doesn't feel like getting off the couch saying, you
Yep.
know what, I'm too old. No, you're really not.
Nope, you're
And you
not.
know what? Worst case scenario, start by looking around you
Yeah.
because we're all our houses are just full of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yep.
it's a gold mine. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, your house could be a gold mine.
Yeah, yeah. And with excuses that I always give the example of I'm in Western New York. I'm 45 minutes south of Buffalo. We're in the snow belt. All right. I don't want to ever leave the house half the time. It's like 8 degrees. It's cold. It's snowy. At one point, I was doing this with our daughter. I was staying home with her, and she was a newborn. She's 6 now. I stayed home with her that whole time.
Oh, wow.
She's never been to a babysitter other than staying overnight with our parents or
Love
a
it.
Yes.
sister or something, and it's like I had every excuse at that time, right?
Sure.
I had a husband that worked. I didn't need to if I didn't want to at that point in time, and I had snow to work against the climate, the kid, and you
Absolutely.
figure it out.
So how many hours a day do you reckon you're putting into your business?
Oh, geez. Well, for my eBay business is honestly not very much. Maybe an hour a day, only because the systems are just in place. And I'm like your ultimate serial entrepreneur. I've got so many different companies and businesses going on that I've kind of stepped into the role now as I call it like the Wizard of Oz. I've got all of these fun projects. And I am finally at the point in my life where I have this amazing team. I have business partners. I have VAs. I have employees from our own e-com community. And I'm able to say, this is my crazy idea. Let's do it. And get the crew together and we do it. So that's where my time is spent. And then working with people in similar situations to me that have a career where they're like, look, I'm suffocated. I'm having anxiety. I don't want to go to work. This isn't for me. I need help, and I work with a lot of people in that way. And I get to know them and we find a lane for them. It's just a skill I have from being, I guess, in e-commerce for so long. People gonna say, hey, I'm really into music. I love music. I want to do that more. But what can I do online that's going to contribute to that? I've been on here so long that I can talk that person through, all right, we got to monetize this. You got to be into this. You could sell this on eBay. This is where you could source it from. We could put a whole plan together. And that's kind of been my calling, I think. I figured it out for me. And I want to help other people figure it out too.
I can only imagine what the other person that the person that's just saying, I'm suffocated at my corporate job. I go to my desk every day and I just can't stand it. I hate it. Sunday nights, I start getting depressed because I know I got to go to work on Monday at the same place.
Yes.
I can only imagine you giving me, that person, the conversation and just lifting their heart, man. I just imagine that, you give them that, oh, you know what, maybe I can do something like this, even if you're, like we talk about, you start out making $500 a month just to prove that you can do it, and you start getting a couple little processes and systems in place and build on it. And then, because you didn't start out where you're at, you started selling one or two things at a time, right?
Listen, if I wrote a book of my journey, everybody is great about celebrating successes. We don't always just go on Facebook and post about all the dumb stuff we did all day, right?
Yeah.
There's so many failures in there. But that's how I've learned. I've
Yep.
learned the dumb things not to do through trial and error. And that's another reason why I feel like we're at this pivotal moment in time where eBay, ecom, it's tangible for everyone because of the advances in technology. Like I'm on the cusp of, I'm a 1980s baby. So I grew up, I still learned on a typewriter. You know, I didn't have a phone. I had a big brick cell phone.
Oh, yes, we remember.
Yeah. So I appreciate that because then I also was kind of that generation of the tail end of the millennials and trying, you know, doing all this stuff with technology. But nowadays it's come so far. Grandparents, people that have no background in technology. If you have a phone and you can press some buttons on your phone, you're good. You can figure it out. I promise you.
That's
eBay.
inspiring. That's inspiring. Really, it is. Because you know what? There are a lot of people trapped at their desk making money for someone else, and they're limited. They're limited by the numbers, the margins, everything, the pay, everything that the boss tells them they can do. You know, and if you're 3 minutes late from lunch, you better have an excuse. All these things, right? So if you wanted to take an hour, hour and a half, or even 2 hour lunch, who do you have to answer to, Bree?
No one.
That's
Bree.
right.
You answered it, Bree. That's who you answered it. So let's
talk.
Let's talk about time management then, because you know, running all that stuff that you're doing, multiple. I mean, myself and Ron, we have multiple businesses. We're all over the place, and sometimes it becomes like, end up got to do this, got to go over there, got to go there, and then end up getting nothing done and just die exhausted at the end of the day. So, what is your way of like managing all of this and getting the work done effectively?
I guess I'm definitely a list creator. So like I have Google Calendar and then I have like basically weekly, monthly, yearly lists. I have a list of stuff that I just need to like go through, you know, right away on a daily basis. I think I'm at the point where I kind of like look at my schedule now and I say, you know, what are the top things that non-negotiable? These are happening today. And they go on the list and they're not going to take that much time either, but they're the non-negotiables. They got to happen. And then I look also through the list to what can I delegate? I was and still struggle with being a control freak. If I can do it, why don't I just do it? I can, you know, but I have had to stop myself and say, I have amazing people that I work with. Whether it's my mom, whether it's a VA, whether it's an employee that could be doing this for me, I'm going to assign it to them. And then I'll create a video with Use Loom, 30 seconds describing what I need them to do. And now I've taken a several hour task that many people would push till tomorrow and then the next day and then the next day and then the next day. It's off my plate and it's getting done.
That's awesome.
That's kind of, and it's a habit. You know, you have to be consistent.
Discipline.
You have to say to yourself, yeah, take it one at a time. I'm going to delegate something once a week. Force that one move. And it's uncomfortable because you're like, oh, how do I delegate it? How do I record this thing? Oh, God, that's going to take forever. And it is. We're all full of excuses. Yes. I found this tool, Use Loom. It's so stinking easy. It's free. Like, I have no excuse now.
Yeah.
There you go. You know, and you talk about processes, right? I mean, seriously, it's just incredible because you sound like you have everything so down to an art right now that you are almost, for the most part, on autopilot, which is really kind of cool. And it's an awesome, I can't even imagine what that's like, but it sounds to me like it's just such a cool feeling. I know you talk about eBay being your core business, but it sounds like it's a cool feeling to know that you've got this money coming in for sure. And then everything else you're doing is bonus money. I mean, seriously.
That's what I love about eBay, is it gives me time to play. So like I want to keep building businesses and companies and this and that. And like a regular job, I was shot. Not only was I not making money, I was exhausted when I got home. I love eBay. I can ramp it up. I can pull back if I want a bit. It's always there. I get it. It is kind of running on autopilot and it affords me that time to play. And when I will say play, like we're into four-wheeling, we're into snowmobiling. My husband has his own eBay account and his own eBay storage. And we'll be like, hey, you want to go snowmobiling today? Yeah, let's do it. It's Tuesday. Let's go out for lunch. Done. Like, it's,
what a cool.
And we stay out of each other's hair. You know, we have our own, like, spots or whatever. But, like, in what other relationship can, in most marriages, somebody's probably working somewhere and can't just,
Right.
take off when they feel like it. And we can do it as a family too. We do it all spring and summer. You want to take a trip? Let's do it. And we load up the RV. I'll put eBay on. I don't even put it on vacation mode. I usually, I don't shut it down. I'll put it on vacation mode. And then we come home usually on like a weekend.
Yep.
Box it all up, ship it out.
Usually on a weekend. You see that, Alice? She don't have to come home on a weekend, but she usually comes home on a weekend.
It's rough.
That's awesome. That's really cool. This is a great story, really, because, like we kind of talked about at the top of the hour here, that, there are a lot of people that sell on eBay, and most people, probably most people have cross platforms or cross businesses and things like that. I just love the fact that you use eBay as your core business. That's really kind of cool. And it's nice to know that you've got that so in place that, everything else is, and you don't even look stressed out now, Bree.
No, I love it.
You don't even look old. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's like, this online stuff's working for you.
I just have found my niche, I guess, and my calling. I just love it. I don't know. And my weird, eccentric things from my childhood start to make sense when you're a little bit older, I don't know. I'm supposed to be here.
Absolutely. And helping people, I'm sure, is just rewarding for you as well, giving back, right?
I just love it because teaching, my background's in teaching, but I didn't love the public school system.
Yep.
When I was figure skating, I was a coach by 13. And so I was working with the youngins at 4 that were starting and coaching them. And it's just always been a part of me. So to have found an amazing way to make money and an amazing lifestyle with my family, and then now to marry it with a teaching piece and to be able to help others do that and not feel miserable. It's awesome. It's an amazing feeling.
So what's the last because we've run out of time here, the last sort of 5 top tips that people should do? What are the 5 best things like?
Let me see here. Just in general?
Yeah. So for in order to get their business going like you are, number 1, sort of believe in yourself or something. I don't know, some of the top 5.
I would say number 1, don't listen to anybody that's not doing it. People that are not doing it want to tell you how to do it. And whatever it is, you can fill in the blank. And if it's eBay and they're telling you how to do it and they're not doing it, they need to be silenced. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Do you. You've got a community of people in the eBay community and e-com that are all doing it, are all successful. Don't worry about the haters and the naysayers. Another one, let's see here. I would say, don't be afraid to push some buttons, is what I call it. So, people are, totally. An amazing animation of Will Ferrell as Elf, pushing all the buttons on the elevator, beep, 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 beep. That's what I love to do. I work with people. Oh, I don't want to touch that button. What's I gonna do? Don't worry about it. Get in eBay, play around. You're fine. We'll fix it if there's a problem. Let's see. Number 3 would probably be really take the cliche of you really can follow your passion and the money will come. It is straight up real. You can monetize any passion. Follow it and the money will come. It might not be the way that you thought it would be, but there's a way to do it. What am I on? 2 more?
That's cool. No, I mean, if you've got 2 more, but if you haven't, I don't want to be putting you under pressure.
Good Lord, we'll be here all night.
Yeah, we'll be on my... This is number 75. This is the top...
I love what I do so much.
We can tell. It comes out. It comes out. It's very obvious. Yeah. So, Bree, we've run out of time, but thank you so much because you've given some great tips. You've also given, just in the way you are, the sort of motivation that it's possible. Running, here's your corporate, here's coming out, and here's creating something you want. So, thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on our summit. We're really excited about this whole thing. It's a really cool project we believe in, and thank you for being a part of that. You've helped eliminate some more excuses. That's what we love to do. And, you've got an 80-year-old grandmother and grandfather that are doing this. So if you're 67 sitting on your couch listening to this and you're going, you know what, I can't do it. I can't get off the couch. No, you can do it. So
no excuses.
No excuses. Absolutely. We don't accept them, right? So thank you very much, Brianna. We really appreciate you. It's so awesome to have you on the summit here with us.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Cool, and we'll
Yep.
see you all again in the next one. Take it easy, everyone. See you later.
See ya.